named A Path to the Dragon's Lair. So you guys picked up the pieces of your battle and at Butterskull Ranch, and decided to head towards Phandalin to gather supplies to go after the dragon and Omnamu, who was carried away by the dragon with his bag of orc steaks.
He's dead. Just leave him to die.
Yeah.
You guys arrived at a crossroad and made camp. In the night, two very vicious Orogs appeared who charged at you with their great axes drawn. You quickly dispatched them and basically just went back to sleep without really searching the area or seeing if there's any other threats.
I think I did a circle around.
Yeah, it was an ocular pat down in the dark, and you know what? There wasn't anything else there, so it worked out okay.
For the best.
Kundarg searched around the dead Orogs and happened to find a map with 2 X's marked on it. One X is located in about the same place as the X that you previously investigated just north of Coneyberry. And the other is up in the Sword Mountains near Icespire Keep. Kundarg also noticed a crudely painted red eyeball on the lapel of the plate armor covering these 2 Orogs. You guys woke up in the morning, had some breakfast, and pulled into Phandalin, returning the horses and actually adding some horses to their fleet. You then headed to the Townmasters Guild to meet with Harbin Wester. Harbin accepted the note from Big Al Calazorn and paid the group some cash. When you asked about tracking down the dragon, Harbin directed you over to the Lion Shield Coster, which is a building you guys hadn't previously explored in Phandalin, and to a lady who runs the Lion Shield Coster, named Lenine Greywind. So you guys headed over there. Lenine then had 3 riddles for you to gain her trust. After a bit of a struggle and some open-ended riddles with multiple answers, she eventually led you on to a scallywag over yonder at the Tersendar Manor, which is a dilapidated building. If you guys are all logged in here, you're in Phandalin. The dilapidated building over on the east.
Oh yeah.
There we go. I just added the name. So you guys purchased some climbing gear, some winter coats and boots, and headed over to the old manor with the intention of likely heading up the mountain to go after your friend. You guys headed over and found a frail old man named Augusto in the ruins of the building. Augusto explained that the dragon has taken over Icespire Hold, which was originally built to defend the Sword Mountains from the orcs, however ended up becoming their home base. In a mixed bag of trickery, it ended up keeping the orcs generally up in the mountains and out of... Oh, Kevin, I have that exact thing. It's glorious. Oh, so let me give you a hint. Have you tried this? It's good on the shoulders. If you pull the straps down and keep your arms in it, you can drag it down your back slowly and have it like get those... Oh, yeah. You got the heat function on too?
I can't see. What is this? Witchcraft?
It's like an octopus.
It's a shoulder massager, and I have massaged my entire back with it. Mine's probably on its mid to last legs because it makes a lot of grinding sounds. Because I've really put a lot of weight against it. Like I'll put it against a chair and then like press my spine into it. But it's
My neck,
fairly glorious.
my neck's been killing me the last couple days, so I
Yeah.
keep meaning to use this thing.
Yeah, I'm giving you 2 GM thumbs up. Inspiration for Kevin Nelson for having the shoulder massager. So yes, the Icespire hold was originally built to defend the Sword Mountains from the orcs. However, ended up being their home base. In a mixed blessing, it kind of kept them up in the mountains until the dragon ousted them. Augusto agreed to meet you at 7 a.m. the next day to show you the way up the mountain. He's warned you that it is a dangerous path. So you guys then headed to Stonehill Inn, where Toblin was distraught over Omnamu's capture, and offers you a place to rest your heads for the night. Yeah, I'm wishing I had my shoulder massager right now. Just watching Kevin like.
It changes directions and it just starts digging in the other way. And
Oh
you're like,
yeah, it starts going one way, and then just as you're like, oh, that's getting the right spot, it switches back, and you're like, oh, that's the spot there.
yeah.
So we pick up in the morning at the Stonehill Inn. And you guys are free to explore, discuss, figure out what you'd like to do next.
I attack the darkness.
Let's abandon all our plans from last time.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was expecting.
I attack the darkness.
The darkness is so offended by the just brutalness of your attack that it becomes light, and the sun rises over the
Grateful universe.
Grateful universe.
Nice.
I don't mean to sidebar, but have you guys seen? You've obviously seen what this
Endgame?
new space telescope is seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I mean, how fucking cool is that?
Pretty sweet.
How completely insignificant does it make you feel day to day? Oh yeah, Kevin's doing it now. It's going down. his
Slightly
back.
more than
I can see
usual.
it happening. That's the spot. He's got the
Slightly.
spot right there. It's just right between the shoulder blades. It's, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It hurts so good.
Yeah.
But yes, seeing the pictures of galaxies on galaxies on galaxies, super cool.
Yeah.
We are insignificant fleas in this universe.
Yeah.
So you wake up in the morning in the Stonehill Inn, questioning your place in the universe after dreaming about galaxies upon galaxies.
I go down to see if they prepared us a big breakfast just like they used to when Om Nom was tipping well.
So you head downstairs. You do find a breakfast prepared for you. It's traditional eggs and bakey, which you've had previously at the Stonehill Inn. You do notice in the seat where Omnamu might be sitting, is his or is a not his, but is a bag on his seat.
Some pancakes with a frowny face, made of like whipped cream.
Some pancakes with a frowny face.
Is this bag suspicious or like, do you recognize it? Because he had his bag when he was taken away, I believe.
You don't recognize it because he had his bag when he was taken away. It doesn't look overtly suspicious, but it's in his seat, and you notice it.
I'm gonna use my nimble fingers and take a look.
All right. So as you approach the seat where the bag is stationed, Toblin comes over and says, I'm so sorry to hear of the capture of my great friend Omnamu. Man, I can see that thing bouncing up and down. It's very distracting, Kevin. I'm so terribly sorry to hear of Omnamu's capture. So that you didn't have to, I took the liberty of packing the things in his room, and I've put them into this bag so that you may take them on your way.
Very considerate. Thank
I
you.
can find it, yeah.
I also needed to free the space for more guests, so you'll understand. I'm trying to run a business here. You guys keep getting free breakfast. I gotta rent this room out, so.
Yar, he hasn't been dead a day.
As I stated previously, I'm trying to run a business here.
If he be dead, he might not appreciate that. Or if he be alive, he might not appreciate that.
If he be dead, he'd be rolling in his grave.
Yeah.
Laddie.
Letty.
Oop.
Nailed it.
Orc, you need bag. We give to him.
It's all yours, big guy.
No, is Orcu's.
Well,
Me's
you can
bag
still
is
carry it.
here.
Yeah, but where's your bag?
Me's?
No, your.
Me no your. You lowlanders say when you're ready.
Well, we have our winter coats. Nice and snug and warm.
Beep boop. I'm ready.
Yeah.
What?
Finish breakfast and head over to meet the guy that's gonna take us up the mountain.
All right. Do you guys look in the bag? No? Okay.
I throw it in the fireplace.
Handed it straight over to me.
Does it have any smells wafting off of it?
Does it smell like orc steak?
There's not.
Objection.
There's
Leading the
not any-
witness.
I'll get you to make a perception check.
Sustained.
Everyone leveled up, by the way, right? Everyone's 4.
Yep.
Just before you get brutalized by whatever.
Roll
is your
initiative.
fate.
What's in the bag?
Inside the bag, you find a die, and it says roll initiative.
It's a mimic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mimic backpack? Ooh. Love it.
All right,
Just
perception.
big circle. It's a rug.
So you
Doppelganger?
give the You kind of sniff the air above the bag. Then you kind of getting closer, and then you take the bag and give it a. There's you don't notice any particular odor or smell to it. It just smells like
What about
an
aroma?
old bag. There's an aroma of old
Bag?
literature. Old bag.
bag.
Old bag is
Mothballs?
essentially
Old bag
not
smell.
mothballs. It's not that strong. It's not that strong.
Okay.
It's a worn bag. It's not an old bag. It's a worn bag, and it smells like maybe the items inside are not emanating the smell, but it's the bag itself that maybe has been kept in a dank corner for a bit.
Well, I'll grab it then. I'll carry it. Is there a weight to it?
Yeah. There's a weight.
I assume we're following strict encumbrance rules.
Very strict encumbrance rules.
That's
You
right.
may only carry 7 lances at a time.
I'm out.
8 is too many. 8 is too many. I need you to understand.
Immersion breaking is that 8th lance. Just like
Where
so
could it possibly go?
the bag weighs. It's fairly light. It's maybe about 3 pounds.
you could make a lance of other lances, and it's just this like insanely wide lance.
60 feet long.
Do we have duct tape?
Alright. Does anyone want to do anything before we head out?
I assume we've had like a nice night's sleep, so we can refresh.
Yeah,
our...
you guys have
stuff.
had a full night's rest at the Stonehill Inn here.
Oh yeah. We're all leveled up. Oh man, we're OP. We're all OP. Ryan, nothing you throw at us will derail us.
Dragon lands in front of you.
Again, for the 4th time.
I get an attack of opportunity.
That's enough. One attack opportunity.
Alright. Sorry, I'm just making a couple of notes here.
He did not open the bag.
That's
It's
actually one of my key notes here.
I'll make a couple notes myself.
Ooh.
That'll do.
Play the Song of Storms.
Oof. I can't play any songs except for. Well, I can play a handful if I have the notes right in front of me. But "Happy Birthday" is the closest thing I got to memorizing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Skills.
It's been a couple weeks since I practiced, so no demonstrations.
Okay, so you guys pack Omnimu's bag away. Sorry, me packs it away in his own bag. And you guys finish your breakfast, and you're looking to head out then.
Yep. We need to rescue him.
All right.
I feel like you're asking the question so many times that we should be doing something else, but nope, that's what we're doing, right?
fine. That's fine. That's you know, what's the point of making any of this up ahead of time? Because we're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants right in the moment. So,
I hope you've learned your lesson to
oh
never
man.
prepare in advance.
So, just to level with you, I was so nervous about the very first session. I was like, I gotta prepare all these things, do all this stuff. For the most part, it's just flying by the seat of your pants at all times. So I'm like, oh, okay, here's my entangled web of options that they'll choose. Here's options A, B, C, D, E. And they choose Q. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What do I
Yeah.
do now?
Where
We
the-
dig a hole.
There's a lot of let's dig
Dig
a hole for an
boys.
entire hour. You still find nothing in the hole. We keep digging.
That's
Well,
the thing. Like, you have like these hints that you're like, oh man, this hint is so obvious. They're just gonna get it immediately over their heads. And then this other thing, you're like, oh yeah, the trees kind of look like an X. They're like, this is the X on the map. We're digging until we find something. From a certain angle, this kind of looks like an X. That's where it is.
We're pouring all our resources into this X. All right, so you head out of the Stonehill Inn. Are you headed anywhere else? Like where? What direction are you guys?
I think we
going?
spoke to Doryu before we rested, and he gave us
That's
a whole
right.
bunch of money.
Yeah, Doryu gave you some money, one at a time, under the door.
And we got
His
supplies.
traditional fare.
Supplies
You
in
guys
winter.
quickly glanced at the old job board there.
Oh, didn't we talk to? Oh, what was that girl's name?
Lenine Greywater.
Lenine.
Thank you for remembering.
Yeah. Lenine
It was in
Greywater,
our recap.
She said
She was the Riddler.
to talk to
Riddler.
the Scallywag Augusto.
Yep. And so now we need to go meet him, and he's going to take us up the mountain.
Yeah, to the east, he says. Like,
Tressendar Manor to the east.
exactly.
Pressendar Manor to the east.
Exactly.
Oh, Lenine was at the Lion Shield coaster. Is that? My notes are just riddled with spelling errors.
Welcome back to the recap we just went through. Yes, Lenine Greywater was at the Lion Shield coaster.
Coaster.
Yeah, there's no A.
I
It
spelled
should be on
coaster.
your screen, so that's okay. My notes are also riddled in
Horrendous.
like they're. I start with this like notepad, and then after we finish a session, I like type something out while it's top of mind. Otherwise, it's just completely gone from my memories. I have enough trouble remembering real life. All right, so you're currently standing outside of the Stonehill Inn. There is me, Kundarg, Lemurak, Chipunk, and Rowan.
To the east. To Tressendar Manor.
All right. So you guys walk down the path over to the east, over towards Tressendar Manor. It's early in the morning. Augusto wanted to meet you at about 7 o'clock in the morning. It's probably about 6:30 as you're walking down the path, and it takes maybe about 5 minutes or so to walk the path to get there.
Is it a nice path?
It's a... I wouldn't describe it as nice, so keep in mind Phandalin is a town that's been around for quite some time, and there's many ruined buildings. The roads are... they're passable as roads, but you wouldn't see these kind of haphazard roads in, you know, a big city.
Go on.
a big city such as
Just like Montreal?
Neverwinter or they're riddled with potholes. They're not ideal for travel, but at the same time, it's not that far you have to go. You can navigate on foot fairly easily.
Any debris in the shape of an X?
I get
Uh,
it.
Vaguely.
I'll have you make an investigation check.
Oh, I'm gonna find some buried treasure in this place.
So as you're walking, looking straight at the ground, not in front of you at all, you do notice some strange patterns in the pebbles. Could be something, could be nothing, could just be pebbles on the road.
I think this is where the session's leading us, boys.
We follow the pebbles.
There's a pattern in these pebbles that could be something. They could be nothing. But as narrated, they could be something.
Maybe we should dig where the pebbles are and dig a huge hole. Maybe there's treasure underneath.
I think we need to remove all pebbles from this town.
Remove all the pebbles from every street? It might work. It might unlock great power.
I think you're onto something. Beep boop.
We go see Scallywag.
Alright, if you insist.
You can always work on road maintenance another time.
Num, you bag very heavy. Must give back soon.
Alright, so you guys head over to Tressendar Manor down the winding path. As you head down the winding path, you're noticing more and more pebbles on the road.
Ah, there's a lot of pebbles.
There's some
God.
sand and dirt, some reasonable sized rocks, but more kind of pebble sized small stones.
When your DM is the biggest troll of all.
Do we meet the king of pebbles?
Just
Yeah.
fading into some
Adventurers.
hole-digging adventure. I didn't prepare anything, so why don't we dig a hole for this entire session?
Oh god.
How much do pebbles cover the ground? Can we see the ground at all from the pebbles? Or
Yes, the ground is made up of pebbles, dirt,
oh,
some rocks. There's little grasses, little tufts, some weeds. There's some dandelions, some other kind of common weeds that you see around. Clover.
okay.
Nothing really significant. There's a few thistles at the side of the path, but nothing out of the ordinary from what you're used to seeing.
A four-leaf clover is technically an X. Maybe I should look for four-leaf clovers.
I smash every single one of you. And drag us closer to the manor.
We
All right, roll for
reluctantly head towards the manor.
Doop, 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 doop.
initiative. All right. So as you approach the manor, the amount of pebbles is starting to become concerning. Sorry.
There's no pushing the
These
story.
insignificant pebbles.
There's no pushing the story along if the DM is the biggest troll of the whole group.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So you pull up. So you manage to leave the Stonehill Inn, and due to the amount of focus you had on the road in front of you and its general maintenance, the number of
So much
pebbles and
focus.
different types of weeds, it's taken you about 30 minutes to get to Tresendar Manor. It's normally maybe a 5-minute walk, so you've really mapped out this path and know where every pebble is located. And as you pull up to Tresendar Manor, you see a shadowy figure over a small fire amongst the ruins.
Are you Scallywag?
Oh, wish I could start a dialogue without that intro. Oh, welcome back. I didn't expect you to actually follow through with coming to find a way up the mountain. Is that what you've come for? I am the Scallywag, Augusto, of course, to answer your question.
These lowlanders need help going up mountain.
When we get to the top, laddie.
We have to rescue our friend. He's been captured and brought up the mountain. He's certainly not dead.
Oh, yes. And I told you I would show you the way up the mountain. That isn't the traditional path.
What's wrong with the traditional path?
Did I miss the recap where the guy joined our party to come with us?
We rolled well to convince him to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
So he gestures to the peaks to the east and says, "It is a very dangerous path. I hope you've come prepared."
I have a snow jacket.
I have a hat.
Winter coats are welcome. It's quite cold up in the mountains. Did you happen to get some climbing gear?
We have some ropes.
Some grappling hooks? Safety harnesses?
We
I
don't
believe
need
I
those.
got the adventure package at the local consortium.
Ah, Lenine took good care of you then.
Good old-
She provides only the best equipment for the best adventurers. And he looks at the group and says, "Well then, shall we sally forth?"
No, let's leave now.
Augusto looks and says, "Oh, leave to go up the mountain, or leave me here on my own?"
Me is coming.
We need to go to the mountain.
We go mountain first, then sally forth.
But what about second and third?
Inspiration to Bob.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good.
You're back.
All right. So you guys put you on this one, on the Sword Coast. So you guys are heading out from Phandalin and heading east. And so Augusto looks at you and says, "You must follow me. The first part of the trip is quite easy. It's a small amount of hills, but once we reach those mountains, it becomes a lot more treacherous and a lot more dangerous. You need to watch out. There are dangerous
treacherous.
There are treacherous caverns. There are dangerous monsters in those mountains.
Really?
Yes.
Well, as our guide, you must help us to avoid all these dangers.
Well, I can only lead you so far. I'm a frail old man, as you know. I can certainly lead you through the hills and up the first part of the mountain. But I'm afraid I'm unable to reach the summit where Icespire Hold and Icespire Peak lie. As it's just too dangerous for the likes of me.
We need to make haste so Nom Yum can rejoin us.
I agree.
All right, then let us begin our travels. Welcome back, Eric. We uncovered some pebbles. That's about as far as we got.
Ryan's just been trolling us for an hour.
Pebbles?
You missed the pebbles. You're gonna have to listen to it. It's a bunch of nonsense.
Does it solve where the X is?
So you guys travel for a couple of hours, and as Augusto mentioned, it's kind of hilly terrain. You're going up one hill, down the next, up one, down the next, a couple of times. And within a couple of hours, you find yourself nestled kind of at the base of this this large mountain. Can you guys see where I'm pinging?
If you hold shift while you ping, it'll move everybody's.
Can you ping again?
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
So you're at the base of the mountains here, and Augusto looks and says, "So we've made it over the hills, and there's not much danger in these parts. But as we begin to ascend these mountains, things will get far more treacherous, and I'll only be able to stay with you for about half the journey, and then I will need to mark on your map the safest path for you to take."
Chicken.
So he begins to lead you up a very small path that had you. So in front of you, you see a very large snow-capped set of mountains. So you've got the whole Sword Mountain range around you at this point. But one particular mountain stands higher than the rest of them. And he motions up to the tallest peak and says, "That is Icespire Peak. Very dangerous up there. You don't want to be caught in bad weather in that area." And you can see him rifle through his bag, and he comes out with a sextant, and he seems to look at the mountain, then look back at the hills where you came from, and says, "We must hurry. There's weather approaching."
You use that device to determine the weather?
He does.
How does it work?
Could you explain how it works? I'm quite the tinkerer myself. Maybe I could help you improve it.
Well, let me explain in great detail how this small item works to detect the weather. Do you see back over yonder to the west? You see those dark clouds? Well, that's a storm. This sextant here really just measures angles up the mountain. And so I'm trying to time our ascent up the mountain with the incoming storm coming behind us.
The storm cloud's shaped like an X, anyway.
Me love the scent of mountain.
The clouds almost look like really small pebbles in the sky.
Attack.
Seem insignificant at first, but you know, if you stared at them long enough, you might be able to determine some shapes. They could be an X, they could not be.
There's a pattern there.
IPC tip.
To the sea. So way out to the west, you can see there's certainly a storm brewing. It's way out in the ocean. Nothing to be too miffed about at the moment. But
could I see that sextant for a moment?
Why, certainly. And he hands you the sextant.
So I hold it in my hand, and then you see the gears on my Nintendo Power Glove start to turn and whirl and spark up a little bit. And then I perform magical tinkering. And it gains 5-foot light radius.
Emits odor.
Okay, no, maybe that's better. Every time you use it, it's just like smells like farts. Like anytime you try to activate it. I have improved it for you.
I have to write this down now. This is an insignificant object getting imbued with magical properties.
Excellent. We've improved the lives of everyone we've come across so far, including this gentleman's.
To the rescue.
Oh man, I just wrote Kelnaz Kundarg.
Listen up.
You don't just shake off a 4-year campaign.
True.
True. Okay, so you hand the sextant back to Augusto, I assume, after imbuing it with some magical properties.
Yeah, I give it back to him.
So he holds the sextant above his above his eye to look up the mountain, and you can see him kind of go. And he puts it away and kind of looks sideways each way, not quite sure where the smell has emanated from. All right.
Got him.
So he leads you up a very small path, which is if you were looking from afar, you wouldn't be able to see it, but now that you're right at the foot of the hills, you can see kind of a small a small trail leading up the mountain. And after about an hour of climbing this trail, you come across a break in the trail where there maybe previously had been a rope bridge or some other structure. What is happening here?
What is it?
Alright. It's out of focus. I don't know. Bothering me. Whatever. You just have to look at blurry me. Orbs. um, so you come across a gap where there's approximately 15 feet from one side to the other. And Augusto turns around and says, here's our first trial. We must cross this, and the rope bridge that I built in my youth has long since rotted away. And he looks to the group for a solution across this 15-foot gap.
Is
We can do
there
ropes.
10 feet of a running space before this
Yes.
guy? All
There's
right.
10 feet of running space.
Then I run and jump, and I jump 16 feet. Say, come on!
Damn. You just happen to run or jump 1 foot further than the gap.
I go closer to the gap.
Can you make like an athletics check or anything, or is
Well,
it just that's just your natural jump?
Yeah, it's ultimately up to you, but the long jump rules, I can jump 16 feet. So
All right.
usually, if there's
Alright.
nothing fancy about it, I would just be able to do it.
Okay.
But
You successfully.
I'm happy to roll an athletics check if you'd like.
Yep, you successfully jump the gap, and you're on the other side.
And then I
Yar.
take out my
Who has-
pole. And say,
Who has the extend? Who has the math?
I take the stick out and say, Festus Brestus.
Nothing happens.
Yeah. I go close to the gap. I materialize an echo on the other side. I swap places with my echo.
Oh.
This
You can
stick,
just do that?
Yep.
Oh man, sick.
this
Oh.
stick is
So I
broken.
basically have teleportation.
I throw the stick across the other side. It's broken.
I catch the stick. And I say, Yar, Festivus for the rest of us.
And the stick extends to 10 feet, I believe, is the length of the wand or the rod.
I back up, get a running start, use it as a pole vaulting stick. Then at the height, I push off to give me that extra distance.
So sorry, you're basically pole vaulting over this. Okay,
Oh yeah,
that's
with-
gonna
with-
need an
with
athletics check.
with a twist in the air.
With a twist in the air. All right,
I'm gonna try.
wait.
Go for
Now
acrobatics.
acrobatics. Okay, I'd
Wait a sec, wait a
accept that
sec.
for the twist.
Wait a sec. I can. If you're gonna do that, I tell you to use the dark side. Use the power of the dark side. Here it is. Guidance. So you get 1d4 to add to your ability check. Oh, before or after making it. That's kind of cool. But you can have it before if you want it.
All right, here it comes.
Go.
14. I'll add a d4 to that.
We go 1.
That's fine. 15's nice and easy.
So you take a running start, and you manage to find purchase with the tip of the rod, um, just before the edge of the cliff here, and launch yourself in the air, doing a nice twist, very graceful, uh, and you land on your feet with a slight stumble, but generally it would be considered that you had almost stuck the landing.
Nailed it. I I throw the pole back to me.
You're with me now, though.
Arr.
No, you keep broken stick.
People.
You need the pole over there.
Hey, pass it back this way.
All right, I'll throw it over.
Well, can't we all just jump the gap though?
Can we? Actually, I was thinking to throw a rope onto the other side.
But I mean, there's no roll involved with just leaping across.
Well, it depends on your
It
strength
depends
score.
on your. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's my strength is 16, and that's why I could do it.
Yeah, it's so you have to be able to run 10 feet, and then you can jump a number of feet up to your strength score.
My strength score is 8, so I needed a pole.
I also need that pole.
I do too.
I throw a rope across to
Yeah, that's a better
like,
idea.
like just to as you jump to have something tied around your waist. Like hold on to this. Yeah. I
Good.
throw.
Good backup plan.
Yeah, it was a backup. Yeah. I tie the rope onto me, like because like I'm heavy.
Me's on the other side.
No, but
Chipunk's on that side too, because
yeah, so I tied
he
him onto
shifted
me.
over
Stop!
that.
Stop, robot, you!
It's the worst name. Ryan, somehow into the story, you have to, like, in world, magically change his name.
No.
Oh,
It's
that's fine.
frustrating for me, but it's also
I'm pretty
frustrating
good.
amongst the group. So it's
Win-win.
Ah.
It makes you watch what you say. I like it.
okay.
Come, Dark you.
so-
I'll catch you.
Hey, I've got the pole, right?
You have the pull. I just have to go pee real quick.
Ooh.
But if you roll
Bathroom.
a acrobatics check, I will respond as soon as I'm back.
Okay. Here it goes.
Oh, critical
I-
fail.
I also use guidance on myself to get
You
extra.
got it's a cantrip. Just go nuts.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use it forever if anyone needs to do that. So I need an acrobatics.
Well, I think you can typically choose acrobatics or athletics depending on
Well,
which way you do
acrobatics
it.
is a little better for me, so I'll do it. I'm not very good at these things though. Ooh, look at that.
Very good.
Well, same as mine.
I'll even roll the 1d4 and add some extra sauce on there.
Oh.
19.
You made me look bad.
Ha! A simple matter. Now, here's the poll for the next guy. Assuming I made it over the side, let's just roll with it.
Nom nom. This is on the other side. No, we were rescuing me now. Eric. Is Eric not with us?
All right, so acrobatics. Oh, so did you do a twist at all, Rowan? What
Nope.
kind of pole vault are you doing here?
Just a clean Olympic style pole vaulting.
If the group had literacy as one of their key attributes, they'd all be holding up signs that say 9.5 as you stick the landing on the other side of the gap.
Excellent. All right.
What is this
Next person, go.
scallywag doing? I think we're all across, aren't we?
So we've got
Scallywag.
I haven't gone across.
Kundarg needs to go, and then you've
Yep.
got a frail old man named Augusto remaining on the other side as well.
So someone throws me the stick,
Yeah,
I assume.
you have the stick.
Don't give him the stick.
Oh. I do a sweet backflip.
Yeah, you managed to do this backflip and stick the landing on the other side, holding the
Stick
pole
it.
firmly in your hand.
Oh, 10. Wow. I throw the stick to Augusto.
Your turn, Scallywag.
Here you go. It's easier than it looks.
Tie a rope to him too.
Yeah, are you guys throwing him the rope too? Because I
Yeah, he's
don't want to
old.
get real technical, but Kundarg basically just did that with no rope.
Yep.
So we'll put an asterisk on that one as to he could have just died.
I,
Could
Let's
have
not-
just died.
Let's
Just
not lose our
careless.
guide.
Carelessly diving into the chasm while doing multiple backflips. All right, so you throw the rope and the pole over to Augusto, and he looks and says, "Oh, my frail body might not take me right across here." And so he makes a running start, and then the GM frantically looks for some kind of stat block for him.
We could just throw him on the other side if he's old and frail and skinny.
But we didn't.
We didn't.
And now Dark You can't even cast guidance on him.
Oh!
I should have gone last. Oh.
So Augusto puts a pretty serious effort in, and you can see him jogging with the pole. He goes to stick the pole into the same spot where each of you have made purchase with the end of the pole. And the pole seems to slip, and he ends up basically running off the side of the cliff. Luckily, because you've passed him this rope, he has this rope tied around his waist, and is now dangling about 15 feet down the cliff.
We howl him up, I assume.
I love that the two's backwards too. Just
Is the two backwards?
now
No.
it's forwards. That's better. That's better. I like it that way.
This is backwards to you guys?
Oh, that's
No.
hard.
This is,
That's forward.
that's
Oh,
good
I
for
want it backwards though.
You want it backwards?
This is,
Okay.
this is backwards for me.
Well, yeah, because you're on the other side of it.
You live in the
I was
opposite land.
drawing them backwards though, so that when I hold them up, they look forward.
Exactly.
Well, you held it up backwards then.
All right. Redo all of them. Scallywag, stop fooling around. Time to go. I'll haul him up.
Okay, I'll have you make a strength check. Is anyone going to help me haul Augusto up the
Can I-
side of the cliff?
Could I possibly make this a athletics strength check?
No, just a straight strength check. I think it's is more appropriate.
You have help from me. You have an advantage.
But yeah, if Chipunk is helping you, you can do it with advantage.
Yeah.
Guidance too, because I'm on your side, right?
All right. So you manage to pull Augusto up the side of the cliff. He's looking terrified and slightly bruised from basically just leaping off a cliff here. He did manage to somehow hold on to the rod that you had sent to him, or that you had thrown over to him. So as you haul him up, he hands back the rod and says, "My old bones aren't meant for this path."
We're just
Plus
getting
more
started.
You can't go back now.
It's actually, it's 100% accurate. It's a one-way trip for him. So he looks back at the chasm that he just vaulted over, or failed to vault over, and was hauled up the other side, and says, "Well, we've made it this far. We should press on."
We press on.
All right. Roll a d20 for pressing.
Oh fuck.
So as he continues to guide you up this small winding path on the mountain, you come across suspense is killing you, isn't it?
I hope it lasts.
And the storyteller closes his book to keep the suspense going. So as you continue to travel up this this mountain pathway, he continues to motion upwards to the mountain and says, "It's going to be getting very cold soon." We also need to watch our step in this next section. So about 30 minutes of climbing has happened, and you've done some manual climbing. There's been some small ropes and stuff that you've placed down to basically traverse a good portion of this next section of the mountain. And you come across an area that the path seems to just stop with an empty cliff. And you can see about 30 feet in front of you, maybe 35 feet in front of you, the narrow path that you've been following seems to continue, but now there is a approximate 35-foot gap with a cliff face on one side and nothing on the other side. Are you guys picturing that? Like, there's a path this way, a path this way, cliff face along this side, and then nothing over here. Does that make sense?
Side of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Side there. That's a better description than I came up with. You're on the side of a mountain.
So we'll have to climb the side, or
Follow the path.
follow the path. But the path is on the. Is there a gap? We can't get to the other side of the path, can we?
Well, not all of us.
Not all of us.
I don't
Oh.
understand the problem. Sorry. Are we
So
are we
there-
currently faced with something, Ryan, or is this just
Yes.
a description?
Yes,
inside
this
the
is
mountain?
yes, this is a an issue. So your path that you're following, you've climbed up this way, climbed this way, and now it ends right here. And there's a sheer looking cliff face along one side, nothing along the other side, and then about 35 feet later, there's another plateau, and you can see the path continue upwards this way.
Okay.
So there's
we
about
have
a
to-
35-foot gap here with one side that's rock and one side that's nothing. The side of a mountain, if you will.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we have to get across a 35-foot gap as opposed to a 15-foot gap, but the option of climbing along a sheer rock face presents itself.
Yes.
Well, I mean, just for variety's sake, we should scale.
Just for
Cross.
variety's sake.
That's right. You don't want a repetitive adventure, do you?
Well, I don't think a pole would get me across this gap.
True. Alright.
So Augusto looks over at the group and says, I don't remember. Well, I remember this section, but it looks like a part of the path has fallen away at some point. We'll need to find a way across or around or some other route.
Could
that
we
can explore.
could
So
we like
one of the-
survival check another route around it?
Well,
Or
one of the
something?
things we purchased was a climbing kit. Can
Yeah.
we use the climbing kit to basically work our way across, put in those like things, make a rope, shimmy rope thing across so that we, you know what I'm talking about. Hammer in the things, make a rope bridge kind of thing on the sheer rock face.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty reasonable solution, but
I'm just wondering if those things are in the climber's kit that we bought, or kits that we
Yeah,
bought.
they're basic things. Like, yeah.
yeah. So the climber's kit came with those are called stops or holds. Maybe
Something
Radosh
like
can.
Pins. I know. I don't know the terminology, but yeah, you hammer them in. You kind of like nail them, kind of like
Boot
Pittance.
tips, gloves,
pins. Yeah.
harnesses.
Thank you. So they should be, unless the wall is perfectly flat, a climber could somewhat traverse it with some success. But if it's like perfectly flat and smooth, like good luck.
I don't think somebody's come up here and polished it. We're on the side
But
of it.
ice, for example, if it's made of ice, I mean.
Love you.
So how difficult would it be for skilled adventurers like us to traverse, like climb this gap cautiously?
It's something that you might just have to try to explore whether it's a possibility.
Tie a rope. I volunteer as the halfling. I'm very light. Tie a rope around me. I'll climb up. Put one of those pits on things in. Get the rope going through it. I'll make my way over 5 feet. Put another one in. Put the rope in it. 5 feet. Just do that all the way across. And then use the rope to shimmy back. We can do another one on the bottom for our feet if we want. Dual.
Do you guys remember how many climbing kits you bought at Lenine's? Was it one each, or was it like
I
three?
think it was
Probably
one
one
each.
Yeah.
One each. Okay.
So I don't know. I volunteer as the climber if we want to do it that way. I'm very light. You guys could hold the other end of the rope tied to me.
I thought you were going.
Arr.
Would
Who's the real troll here? I mean,
It's the campaign of trolls.
it's a campaign of trolls. It's just everyone trolling
I'm
each other
alive.
all the time.
Enabled, 100% enabled by the DM. And
Hey, I
his nature.
enable full troll all the time. Even trolling against me. I mean,
Yeah.
he's over here.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. All right. What are those glasses, Borbs?
They have no lenses.
Oh, okay, they're just for show.
They're just for gaslighting, Cat. What do you mean, laser eye?
Okay, so is that the running plan then? You guys are gonna try and traverse the side of the cliff. Do you want to like investigate the cliff to see if it is a polished stone surface?
Well, we kind of asked that, right? Like we said, like how difficult is it? That means basically like, does it look like there's handholds or foot places?
Okay, fair enough. You did ask that, and I didn't answer it, so I'll answer it now. As you look at the cliff face, it's certainly not polished. It's definitely just worn away cliff rock. There are some handholds and footholds. They're not well worn or traversed. They're just kind of natural outcroppings of the rock that has made up this mountain and this cliff.
Go, Tiny you.
Right. I don one end of the rope, attach myself, put in one of the things almost immediately before even getting out there. So I'm
Can't trust your group to hold on to
hooked.
the other end of the rope.
Well, no, they're holding onto
That's
their end all
fair.
the same, but at least I'm bound, like hooked to something.
Mhm.
And then I make my way out
I'll hold the
5
rope.
feet at a time, hammering in those things as I go.
Okay. I'll have you make a athletics check to climb across this. Why don't we say, for argument's sake, these climbing kits that you've received seem to be of reasonable quality, and you're fairly confident that you can get at least 10 feet before you have to put another anchor in.
Is there any way I can use acrobatics?
Are you doing a spin or a backflip, or
Don't do it, Ryan.
All right, I can use athletics, I suppose. This is now I am the wrong one to have done this. Don't take the dexterous one. Take the strong one.
Too late.
He's
Oh,
not
wow.
nervous.
Oh
0.
shit!
I got a 0.
So
guess
here, here we go. So
Yes.
you
Yes.
manage to hammer in the first anchor, and as you go to begin your climb, you think, you know what's a great idea? I think I should jump for that handhold over there. And so
27. I jumped.
you leap out about 5 feet and miss the handhold completely. and fall down about 10 feet before the rope is taut and your friends.
How do you have a 6? How do you have a 6, not including your proficiency bonus?
On what? What are you talking about?
19 plus 2 plus 6. Your dex is 21 or 22.
No, my dex is 4.
Am I reading that wrong? Shouldn't it be plus 6 total?
Yeah, you got a +8 on that.
You giant cheater?
No, there's a reason. I'm sure there's a reason.
Literally giant.
It's all default.
And a cheater.
Maybe
It's all default.
Maybe it's a halfling thing?
Oh, maybe. Halfling nimbleness? No. I don't know. I'll have to look.
Okay,
Asterisk.
well, your athletics check was a failure, and you're now dangling about 10 feet down. While your comrades hold the rope that you're attached to with the first anchor.
I'll pull them up.
Yeah.
Yar, as it turns out, I'm not the best candidate for this job. Get someone with some muscle out there. I untie the rope and hand it over to.
Me show you lowlanders how it's done.
Yeah, you're a little big, but you're probably the strongest one. Everyone, man the rope.
All right. So you guys managed to pull Lemurak up from his shameful display, where he basically just kind of swan dived into the cliff. And it sounds like me is basically reaching 10 feet across to find that handhold and pull himself across. So I'll get you to make an athletics check, me.
Okay. Nice.
Oh my god.
So you managed to reach across with your hand, and the handhold that you grab on, the rock you're grappling, as you go to remove your feet from the stable position, the rock comes off of the cliff, and you fall about 10 feet before the anchor stops you.
Tiny, you did this wrong.
Okay, well.
Oh, it's
Well,
proving difficult.
just keep trying to climb. Like if
Dark One, cast your magic to guide us. Boop.
Well,
Make us.
he's not in reach anymore. He's dangling down there. I'm not
Yeah.
going down there.
Like, we pull him up. I mean, why am I?
you
We
don't
pull
even, you
him
don't
up.
even need to pull me up. I can just continue climbing.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well.
Well,
When
you continue climbing, like you're 10 feet below the initial starting point.
Just try and grab myself onto the rock wall and just climb a little further.
Okay. I'll get you to make an athletics check then.
All right, I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Oh.
Ooh.
So after the embarrassing display of grabbing the loose rock and falling slightly, me basically clambers up back to where he started, nimbly jumping from rock to rock, and is now about 10 feet across, attaching a second anchor to the cliff.
Beep boop.
I'd even call him Nimbly Bimbly.
Okay. Continue going across.
Okay, I'll get you to make another athletics check. 9. That's not great. That's not great. So as you reach across,
Get some guidance going here.
Can't anymore.
Dark One. Oh no.
It's touch.
your the back foot that you're holding onto a foothold with slips out, and you fall down about 10 feet. So now you're 10 feet out and 10 feet down.
Cursed cliff.
Hmm.
And I'm just gonna keep doing this until either I fall to my death or I get across. So.
Okay, I'll get you to make an athletics check. So you kind of grope at the cliff, unable to really find a handhold or a foothold that would help you climb
Okay,
up.
but as he's struggling, like, okay, so it's unrealistic that he keeps falling because the distance which he fell initially is the distance of the rope. We're holding that length on the other side, so there's no way he can fall further than he is. Like, I mean,
Yeah, no, he hasn't fallen further, but he hasn't been able to climb back up from that location. So it's not like he dropped an additional 10 feet. He's basically dangling with this harness coming out of his belly, like, woo, off the side of the cliff.
okay, well, in that case, we pull him up.
So this time around, he does manage to climb up the cliff slightly and make his way a further 10 feet. So now he's about 2/3 of the way across. And with his final strength check, he manages to get the last anchor, or the fourth anchor, into a section of the cliff. And I'll have you make an acrobatics check.
Oof.
That was me. That was me.
That was you? Oh. So unfortunately, you fall about 10 feet and have to make another athletics check to grapple on. Okay, you're back on the cliff now. Now make an acrobatics check.
What acrobatics am I doing here?
You're trying to jump the last 5 feet, I assume, unless you want to continue
Just keep
climbing to the
yeah.
last 5 feet. Okay, so make an athletics check then. And so you manage to make it across and secure the final anchor.
That's how you do it, lowlanders.
After falling so many times. Beep boop.
Come
Right.
on.
So do we go one at a time with a rope tied on us so that somebody can rescue us if we fall?
Beep.
Well, you now have an anchor system that goes across. So in lieu of having everybody do these repeated athletics and acrobatics checks, we'll say you guys make it across because you've got the safety ropes and harnesses in place. And you make it across to the other side, including the frail old man who manages to fairly nimbly make it from stone to stone. Almost like he's climbed these cliffs before. He seems to
Hiding,
naturally know where to put his hands and feet, as
hiding
opposed to
nothing.
grappling at random rocks like you guys have been.
Does he look like he have any X's on his body?
You notice his pockets are full of pebbles, which is very curious.
How? What? Are my hands in his pockets? Like,
Sometimes. You tell me. Are your hands in his pockets?
probably.
All right, so you guys make it across this 35-foot cliff section, and Augusto motions you further up the mountain. So you climb up probably another 25 or 30 feet vertically, which takes a bit longer because it's a narrow path that you're following up the side of the mountain. And you come to a small plateau that's all made out of rock, but gives you kind of a mustering point, we'll call it, on the side of the mountain here.
Let us, master.
What do you guys do on this plateau?
Can we look around and see if there's like a path out of here or any, caves?
Wait,
I'll
Augusto
have
should.
you. Sorry?
Augusto should sounded like he knows where he is, so we can ask him like how to proceed to the dragon's lair.
And so I'll get Rowan to make I guess an investigation check? Investigation or perception, whichever you prefer
Alright.
that way.
I'll touch myself first so I can do this better. Perception check coming right up.
Forget all the people climbing cliffs. I'm just gonna touch myself so I can see around us better.
That's right. Aha! 19.
19, okay. So, as you look to the south, you see a bunch of snow-capped mountains. It's actually quite a breathtaking sight. You can see the lowlands and the hills leading up to the mountains, forests beyond the mountains, and generally it's a very nice view when you look south. When you look east, you can see what appears to be a continuation of the same kind of mountainside path that you've been following. That's fairly thin and just as dangerous as you've been experiencing. When you look towards the west, you can see the hills and the town of Phandalin off in the distance. And when you look to the north, you see about a 30-foot cliff with another plateau on top of it. And up the side of the cliff, there appears to be some I don't want to call them steps because they're not really steps, but there's some like outcroppings of rock that would suggest it's a bit simpler to climb on that section.
Oh, I'm always up for the easy way.
Me too.
We're looking for... Where?
You're climbing up a mountain here, Chipunk. There's a bunch of rocks on one side, a bunch of nice views on the other side.
No nice views.
No nice views. This is just a shitty rock climbing adventure. Just darkness all around you. So as you're standing in this on this plateau, Augusto pipes up and says, "The easy path is sometimes not as easy as it seems," and he points to some scratch marks towards the top of the 30-foot cliff that you hadn't noticed before.
Scratch marks.
What kind of scratch
I'm not
marks?
afraid of scratch marks.
Some beginner climb.
Do they look like claw marks or?
I'll have you make a investigation check.
That's not gonna go well. Never mind.
They do appear to be some kind of claw marks. They're not huge claw marks like you might expect from
A dragon.
a dragon or something along those lines, but they're slightly smaller scratch and claw marks.
Can I tell what kind of claw creature might have made them?
I'll get you to make a nature check then.
Those are claws.
So from 30 feet down on the cliff, all you can tell is that there's some scratches in the rock. You can't really discern what's made them. You just know that from this far away, it's definitely smaller than a dragon, but you're not sure exactly what might have made these scratches.
Be careful. Some strange creature make those scratch. Smaller than dragon, for sure.
I get my...
We brought a guide. We brought a guide to tell us which way to go. Which way do we go?
Augusto points you out towards the west, which is out towards Phandalin, so it's a big open space that you can see. And he says, "It looks like the storm is approaching a little quicker than we had anticipated." And you can tell, so you can still see Phandalin, but maybe just on the other side of Phandalin, you're starting to see some dark clouds and storms that were out over the ocean previously starting to come inland. He looks at the group and says, "We have two options in front of us here. We can take the much slower, more tricky traversed path up the side of the cliff, as we have been, or we can explore this. We can travel up this easier path and see what might behold us."
We asked for a decision and you just gave us our options.
That's right. Because
My God, is this?
your decisions.
For you.
Despite the number of pebbles and X's you're seeking, he does not make your decisions.
Surely we should take the fastest path.
Or we can make camp until the storm is over.
That sounds like a great option. Q. Let's do that. Let's just stay here and make a nice little,
Yep.
igloo or whatever.
We'll dig a Snow fort.
Yeah. Make an awesome snow fort.
Make an igloo.
So you haven't reached the snow yet. Just to temper your expectations.
But when we
on
do,
on this epic snow fort in the rocks,
Right.
it's a bunch of cliffs and rocks so far.
We better prepare a snow fort adventure. for
Snow
next-
fort adventure.
Yeah. Alright. Well, I don't know. I'm not afraid of scratches. I think we could probably. All this mountaineering is tiring me out. I don't really feel like, more exercise, if you know what I mean.
Be right back.
I can make rope tossing easy if we just abuse that method of traversal.
So I don't want to put weird, annoying suggestions that'll be to the detriment of myself. But how far can you make this echo?
30 feet.
30 feet. So
After
you
we-
can literally travel vertically in 30-foot sections, like dropping a rope for your friends to go up.
Anywhere. At infinite
That's
times.
horrible. That's horrible.
At times I thought you could only make so many echoes.
Infinite times is a bonus action as many times as I want. I have
Wow.
limits on some actions with the echo.
Oh, okay,
Um,
because I thought you could only do it like so many times a day or something, like making a new echo.
The limits for which the abilities are to do an extra attack from an echo. I can do 3 a day. And yeah, that's it. That's the only.
Like dropping a rope
Wow.
and teleporting is not.
Yeah, that costs a bonus action, so I cannot create and teleport on the same turn.
But if we're outside of initiative,
I mean,
order,
every
turns,
character-
like, essentially every 6 seconds, you can just teleport here, there, and everywhere. So.
Yeah, and Ryan, every character at some point will get some sort of teleportation ability.
Yeah. I'm just
But yeah, deal with it.
dealing with it as it comes. So, so before you are basically presented 3 options. You can make camp and wait for the storm to blow over. You can continue to traverse the winding, difficult path, or you can take the slightly easier path up this cliff, and you know that there's some scratch marks, which may or may not be foreshadowing of some kind of issue on that path.
Easy pass, final answer, go.
I agree. Easier is always better.
definitely no foreshadowing from the scratches.
I'm not afraid of scratches.
Let us push forward.
They're probably just scratches of Omnon Yu trying to escape the dragon, which he failed at, and then got devoured.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Or we could take the hard path.
People.
No, scratchy path.
People.
All right. I will
Scratch a path.
So before you is basically a 30-foot cliff with some kind of steps, but not like a staircase. Not staircase steps, but pieces of rock that are jutting out that make it simpler to climb up.
Is staircase. We go up
so,
this way.
I'll get everyone to make a athletics check to get up the cliff here, about 30 feet upwards. Oh, that's not great.
Rolling so bad today.
Oh my god.
Look at that. -1, -1. Bob's got a +5.
And he rolled a 6.
Yeah. It's worth reminding you cannot critical fail skill checks.
Oh, not in this campaign.
So, fair
That's
enough.
totally up to the DM.
Certainly can.
Yeah. Well, that's just the. Then we start getting critical successes, and then
You-
then you got to
fine.
deal with it.
a 6 adventurer joins you and begins climbing up, and it's just like old times. So we have a 6, a 2, an 11. Who are we missing here? We're missing Chipunk and we're missing Rowan. But Namyamu is in here. Oh my god.
So you said 30 feet, right?
Yep.
I project my echo 30 feet up and I swap places with it.
This was supposed to be fairly easy for you guys to get out. I was
And I
taking
look
like
down.
a group roll to get up this cliff.
Yeah, I can help, and I throw a rope, holding one end down the
Alright, so
staircase.
me leads the way and slips on the second rock face and falls back to the plateau. Lemurak isn't quite tall enough to make it onto the first plateau and struggles to climb up that first one. Kundar makes it about 3 steps up before his arms give out and he falls back down to the initial plateau, taking 3 fall damage
Oh,
from his fall. Namimu continues to struggle wherever he is. He's not super athletic, but you can sense a struggle happening somewhere. And Rowan, while he looks like he's about to climb it, just decides that climbing's really not for him, and doesn't even start the first step. However, Chipunk manages to stargate up to the top of the cliff and drop a rope down. And the rest of you manage to climb up the rope after Chipunk drops it down to you.
Beep boop.
Me spend too much time in lowlands.
Climb higher.
You guys each reach the next plateau here, so it's about 30 feet above the prior plateau that you were on. As you look around, you can see to the south, again, basically a very similar breathtaking view of the southern Sword Mountains, the hills, and the forest. To the west, you can still see Phandalin, but you can tell that the storm is fast approaching that area. And then as you look to the north, you see 2 cave entrances, and to the east a 3rd cave entrance.
Choices.
Many caves. Well, guide, are you able to narrow this down for us, or just cryptic clues?
And as you ask Augusto for his opinion on these cryptic clues, he grabs his bag that he's been carrying, pulls out a large bedroll, and curls up for a nap,
He's taking a nap.
suggesting that perhaps the next section of this is going to take us significantly past midnight. So,
Alright.
So
if you're,
just
if
as
you're
he's-
okay with that, I'll force at least a short rest. Or
I just want to
something.
do one thing real quick. That as he's gotten into his sleeping bag, I cast magical tinkering on it, and now anytime he enters or leaves the sleeping bag, it smells like farts.
Art Minister over here.
So as he crawls into his bedroll, you can see him kind of look back and forth in a very shady way. But ultimately he kind of settles down and falls asleep.
I can do that one more time, by the way.
Per day, or like
I
this
can.
is,
It's
it
like
just
a
fart smells
attunement.
everywhere?
It's an attunement, sort of.
You're burning your attunements just to make things smell like farts? Alright. I mean, it's your powers.
Just drop them later, I guess.
We'll probably do for a long rest, I'd say.
Yeah, you guys have been climbing for the better part of a day. I would say you're probably in the evening time at this stage. Probably not a bad section to kind of make a camp and have a meal and try and get a sleep in.
Very well. We shall.
Not that I want to tell you what to do. I mean, the world's your oyster. I'm just.
What about
whatever
the
eats my
scratch
serves.
marks? Are there more scratch marks here?
So excellent question. So as you look around, there's significantly more scratch marks around this area. They're pretty prominent just about everywhere.
Ooh.
Doesn't necessarily look like the safest place to make a camp, but it is what it is.
Can I do like take a look at the tracking, like try to do some tracking here and see if it's nearby or if it's been recent or.
Yeah. So do you have like a
Survival.
what would it be appropriate here? Survival or nature or something like that?
It would be survival just to find tracks.
Okay. Yep. Survival sounds reasonable. Oh. So you do find some tracks, and they are fairly recent. Probably within the last 2 or 3 days. You can see some kind of as you investigate the area, you can see some small animal bones, kind of tussled up old vegetation. There's not a lot of plants around this area, but kind of some dead vegetation and stuff like that that's been kind of scratched into a pile, and more claw marks everywhere you can see.
Could take a closer look at these claw marks now and try to determine what it is.
Mm-hmm.
If only I had some
That
sort
would
of
be a nature
yeah.
check. Yeah.
If only I had some sort of guidance on this. Oh
If only I
well.
was being guided.
I guess I'll have
someday.
to just go for it.
Alright, you may use
If
the power
only,
of the dark side. I will allow it.
Alright, so an 18. So, in your vast knowledge of the mountains and all the traveling that you've done.
This is my home turf, so
Your home turf, you do recognize these scratches, and feel that you are relatively close, if not upon, some sort of basilisk nest.
oof.
Basilisk nest.
Be
That's not
careful.
good.
Stony lizard live round here. Make you rock hard.
Well, we wouldn't want that.
Like to be loose and nimble,
Yeah.
flaccid in some occasions.
Here we call it.
Yum yum.